In what subject area does that term come up? Quantum physics. Okay. And why do you think quantum physics and computer science at some point will intersect and they will become quantum physics concept will become important in a computer science class? Why do you think I said that? Have you guys been following news on the various geeky channels? And that has to do with Google coming up with a quantum computer, right? So, hmm? Go ahead. Okay, so a quantum computer is a computer that makes use of or utilizes quantum effects. IBM a already has a quantum computer. Google claims that it now has one too, and Google was proudly announcing, "Oh, this problem that will take a traditional computer 2,000 years to solve, we can now solve this problem in a day." And then IBM came back and say, "Yeah, well, ours can do it in an hour." So the arms race is already on between those two. Yep.
I think it was like 200 seconds for
200 seconds.
yeah Google computer and like they calculated like 10,000. It would take classical computer 10,000 year, and IBM came up and said like we can do it in 2 days with classical computers. I think that was the
That was on
context.
context. Okay, so I was hearing different stories, but the point is IBM also has their own quantum computers. So whenever you have two corporations, I think we talk about corporations and how powerful they are becoming. When you have two corporations competing with each other, you will start to see technology leapfrogging at a very fast pace. It's kind of like between Elon Musk and what's his name, Bezos. What's his first name? Jeff Bezos. So he's one of the richest person in the world, and I cannot even remember his first name. So don't let him know. If you're Jeff Bezos, don't watch this video. You may not be happy about the rest of the content. I'm just kidding. He wouldn't care. Okay, so here's a new program. Okay, so this is a new program. By the way, the streaming is still on. So I'm not sure whether it will break it up into two halves or just merge the two into one. Okay, so we'll define sub Jerry Ryan. So we'll say Ryan. Okay, and this is going to return 7 and define sub, and we'll define sub. Okay, Johnny, and this is going to return 5 and define sub. And the numerical value with the names has to do with characters in certain science fiction shows. Jerry Ryan is the name of the actress who plays Seven of Nine in Star Trek Voyager, and Johnny is coming from Johnny 5, the robot. Short Circuit is the name of the movie. Does it ring any bell in this class? Or am I just dating myself? Okay. So just to let you know that I'm not crazy, so this is Johnny 5. It is coming from the movie called Short Circuit. So Johnny is a very kind of, there you go. So this is Johnny 5, the robot. So I use Johnny when I think of the number 5. Hmm? Yeah, it's a very old movie, okay, called Short Circuit, which to this class also has a special meaning. Remember short circuit evaluation of and or expressions, okay? So, and then the other one is Jerry Ryan as 7 of 9. So her character is a Borg that is serving on the starship Voyager. Nope, they don't have a picture of her as in character. But anyway, the character is called 7 of 9, which is a Borg that was orphaned and picked up by the spaceship Voyager. And now I need to get back to the spreadsheet. There we go. All right. So now we have x being invoke Ryan plus invoke Johnny. There we go. Okay, so this is the program that we'll trace as the last thing that we do today. And this, hopefully this will help you clarify the concepts of how to track down a function that returns a value. Okay, so we got line number, we got global variable x starting with an unknown value as the precondition. Pretty easy stuff. Line 7. Okay. So when we execute or when we get to line 7 the first time, what do you think we can do? And by the way, as a clue, there are two options. We can choose to do one or the other, and it's okay no matter which one you choose first. So what do you think that's going to be? Okay, yes, go ahead. Return info, right? We have to set up return info so that we can get back to continue some operation. Okay, so that's fine. This is on line 7. So now the question is, what should I put here? There are 3 distinct things that we need to do. 4. Okay, there are 4 distinct things we need to do on line 7. The last thing we do is to update x. Does it make sense? But that's the last thing because we have to evaluate the right-hand side first. Evaluate the right-hand side this time has 3 distinct steps. I need to invoke Ryan to find out what is the return value of the subroutine Ryan. I need to invoke Johnny to find out what is the return value of Johnny. Once I have those 2 figured out, then I can actually perform the addition. Then the sum is what I will use in order to update x. So those are the steps. So now the question is, which one should we invoke first? Or should we invoke both at the same time and have 2 question marks? We cannot do both at the same time. You can only invoke one subroutine at a time. So do you guys have a preference? Ryan, I figured. Okay, so we'll invoke Ryan first. So the way we do this is we copy the entire line 7 basically, except for the subroutine that we are actually invoking, which is invoke Ryan. What about the other subroutine that we are not invoking? Just copy and paste. So this is how we write it down in return info, because this time we are only concerned about invoking the subroutine Ryan. What about Johnny? It is as if we don't even know it is there. Okay? So this return info is also telling us that the first time we return to line 7, this is what is left to do on that line. Yes?
Say we were tracing it and we didn't write invoke Johnny, will we lose points?
You will lose, yes, you will lose points. Okay, so line 2 is going into the subroutine and we execute the return statement. So can someone tell me again, what do we do when we execute a return statement? Replace the question mark, exactly. So we copy and paste, replace the question mark with the value that is being returned. In this case, it is simply 7, okay? And we're done. We're done with executing line 2. We get to line 3, we copy this to the line number column, because this is actually what is left on that line to do. And then we deallocate column C. So column C is now deallocated. And now we get back to line 7. But line 7 does not look like this anymore. We have resolved the left-hand side of the addition. But I still don't know what the value is on the right-hand side because I have not invoked the subroutine Johnny yet. So this is the time when we invoke Johnny. Okay? So what we do is when we execute this line, we reallocate column C. So column C is now being used as a return info cell again. And then this time it's easier for me because I can just copy and paste it. But this time, because we're invoking Johnny, so the invoke Johnny part of the expression is now replaced with a question mark. Because when we are returning from the subroutine Johnny, that question mark should be resolved to a particular value. Are we doing okay so far with this? Okay. Then we get into the subroutine, getting onto line 5. Line 5 says return 5. So we look up the rightmost return info cell that is in use, copy and paste it, replace the only question mark with the value that we are returning, which is 5, and then we're done. We're done with line 5 now. So the job of line 5 is really just to replace a single question mark with a specific value. That is all it is supposed to do. We get to line 6. Line 6 is the end of a subroutine, so we got two things to do. One is to retrieve the rightmost return info cell, and this time we have to copy the entire thing to the line number column. And then once we have done that, then we have no use of the return info cell anymore, so we deallocate the return info cell. So column C is once again available if I have to use it again. Then we get back to line 7. Line 7 now looks like this. Well, I think we know what to do now, right? Because we know how to add 7 and 5, which is 12. So when we execute line 7 in this case, then x is going to get the value of 12, and then we are all done. So you can see that we get to line 7 3 times. The first time we get there, we decide to invoke Ryan first. The second time we get there, we have to invoke Johnny. The third time we get there, we can finally perform the assignment operation. Yes?
When we invoke the second time, we change the info, re-info something, we have add one more info.
When we invoke it when we get to it the second time, this is what we're invoking, and that's why that invocation is replaced by a single question mark in the return info cell.
No, I'm talking about the return info, which like.
Which row are we talking about?
7.
Row 7. So when we get back to here, then we have only this part to do.
There is one if, etc. Here, if is etc.
Because when we execute line 7 here, the only thing we have to do is to invoke Johnny. So we are reallocating column C to serve as our return info cell.
I'm confused with this if. There is no if, there is if. It's like different things or?
Oh, that's typo. That F is a typo.
Oh.
Yeah. Let me fix that first. Yeah, that's just me typing an extra character.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. All right. Cool.